Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Burr with the Tattooed Spirit, moving forward through our very ever-changing thoughts that are our world and how we act in our world due to our thoughts and how our thoughts are affected by our world. All that wonderful triangle stuff that we've been dealing with, that beautiful new, look at this, updated colored chart. It's awesome. Take a freeze frame of that and post that on your wall. We're moving to the Seven of Swords. This is a curious little character here. This Seven of Swords, anytime you see this Seven of Swords, I'd like for you to have associated with it two specific pieces of advice. Because it's a seven, it has to do with victory, like action, like victorious action. But in this particular case, it's the contemplation of action. It is your thoughts surrounding how you're about to do something, how you're about to initiate your plans to get your intentions resolved in the real world. The two pieces of advice, the two suggestions, the loving suggestions to you are this: be yourself, and two, ask for assistance. Because there's two things on this card that really speak to me, and as it has helped me in the past, and as I help people in this practice that I do called the Tattooed Spirit, is the shiftiness, the not being yourself-ness of this card. There's something funny that happens around this particular characters. And as, by the way, I'm looking at the back of the card, imagining there's really nothing here. So I know I'm going to get a comment saying, you're putting cliff notes on the back. It's just, when I look there, I'm imagining what's on the front of the card. That's the case with all these cards, by the way. I'm looking at the same pattern you are when you're there. I don't know, I just had to say that for whatever reason. But the image of his hat not really blending with his hair, and his hair trying to maybe blend in with his hat, but it's not really working. I find that imagery interesting, as if it's almost wearing a mask. I see this character as not feeling trusting that he can just be himself. And also in the situation that you may be considering, that you may be contemplating, that you may be in, that you're not asking for assistance. It's one of the hardest things for me to do in the world, is to ask to help anytime I move. And I don't know what that is about me. This card has helped me understand that at least the situation is coming again where it would serve me to ask for assistance. Because you can see this character is doing a fine job kind of, doing the business of carrying away the swords, but it's not the most effective way to be doing it. There's still just two standing. And the way in which he's carrying the swords is about awkward, and it's just not as efficient. So the loving suggestion is to, whatever it is in regards to this spread, or if you're just doing a one-card pull in the morning, it is, don't be afraid to, whenever you find yourself in a situation that if you could imagine you'd be helped by just having help, then go ahead and ask for help. Contemplate the action of asking for help, not necessarily doing it yourself, which is what this character is trying to do, and not very good at it. You can kind of see the sneakiness, like, I'm afraid to kind of really be myself in this situation, because if I ask for help, that shows weakness or some sort of less than-ness of you. That is a false representation of the actual truth. Some of my best friends, I love whenever they ask me to help. It gives me an opportunity to step in somebody else's life and help them move. I don't know why it's so hard, or it was so hard for me to ask for people to help me move. But this card just gives two wonderful pieces of advice. To just be yourself. And that's okay that if you ask for help in the consideration of whatever action or thought processes that you may be going forward as far as planning for an event. Okay. This means that you're beginning to fall into your authentic self, that the mask, that awkward looking hair, face thing is just taken off and you're just you. That means authentic. That means you going into the situation and it's safe, you've already asked for help, that you don't have to do it alone, that the people around you at this time are serving you well. It's a funny little card, funny little expression, funny little way that he's carrying his body and kind of being clever by being maybe a little bit sneaky clever, but in no way evil or demonic or in any way type of that you're trying to hurt somebody. Or if you draw this card in relation to somebody else, they're not trying to hurt you. This is not an evil intentioned card at all. It just means that there's cleverness. It's kind of a wittiness. And those are all mental attributes of this sword suit of air thinking. It's the contemplation of action. Okay? So, for the 10th time, be yourself and ask for help. This is just simple, easy advice for the 7. Now, one more note. I pulled these cards out for a reason, because I like to compare and to review and sort of cement how these cards all interact together. The 7th card of the second row of the major arcana is, you see this wonderful balance. You see this wonderful balance. You see how uneasy and unbalanced that this character is with these swords. You can kind of see the ease of temperance. This is kind of the ideal situation of any time you go into an event or a contemplation to an action, is to just be yourself and ask for help if in any way you feel that you need it. This is the 7th card of the first line of the major arcana. And this is just successful action. This is having willpower serve you. This is personal maturity in your life. And this is also a card of complete and utter balance. The 2 Sphinxes, the character's looking straight at you. Hand position's the same. It's balance. It's balance. And this is unbalance. Okay? So get yourself worked out. Ask for help and be yourself. We want to know you and love you for who you really are. That's the suggestion. Come back for the 8 whenever we look at the proposed, perceived oppositions in our world and how those may not always be as they seem. I'll see you in just a moment.